Zambia provides a strong example of a country that has used the DIA framework and process to support robust climate and development planning and action. As we'll see in coming slides, the DIA process supported development of Zambia's intended nationally determined contribution submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in September 2015 and design of 4 nationally appropriate mitigation actions. As presented on the slide, Zambia's INDC puts forth an ambitious target to reduce GHG emissions by 2030 with international support. In alignment with one of Zambia's key development goals to support energy access, Zambia's Rural Electrification Authority is also developing a DIA framework and process to assess impacts of electrification projects. The photo on the slide shows one school that was recently electrified in Zambia with support from the Rural Electrification Authority. Zambia's DIA process was led by a partnership between the government of Zambia and a local technical institution called the Zambian Center for Energy, Environment, and Engineering, or CEES. With support from U.S. aid, strong capacity was built within CEES to lead the DIA analysis and stakeholder engagement process. A diverse set of stakeholders presented in the box on the right provided key insights and technical input to the DIA process. The government of Zambia prioritized key impacts for assessment based on the country's national development goals, including health, education, and food security. As a starting point for the DIA process, CEES performed initial assessments of impacts of mitigation actions using available literature and analysis. This analysis was summarized in concept notes describing potential impacts of key actions. In the next step, key experts and stakeholders used the concept notes developed by CEES to provide important initial information for detailed stakeholder discussion on impacts. As another important element, stakeholders that would be engaged with the process more broadly were also trained on use of the Development Impact Assessment Framework. Building on the concept notes and stakeholder training, workshops were held to receive key inputs to the framework, including other potential impacts to consider, as well as revisions and improvements to the analysis and assumptions. CEES then used the stakeholder input to further populate and improve the framework with additional and revised impact information and data. A broader set of stakeholders participated in workshops to present the impacts and validate the framework and analysis. Based on this validation, prioritized climate actions were presented to the Ministry of Environment for approval. The DIA framework and process directly informed key actions included in the mitigation component of Zambia's INDC under 3 areas: sustainable agriculture, renewable energy and energy efficiency, and improved charcoal production. The analysis informed development of 4 nationally appropriate mitigation action, or NAMA proposals for increasing efficiency in harvesting, processing, and use of charcoal, sustainable agriculture through integrated crop and livestock farming, integrated waste management in select councils, and implementation of 4 selected small hydro projects. Clearly articulating development impacts of proposed mitigation projects, including NAMAs, can be instrumental in attracting climate finance. The results from the DIA analysis were also used as key inputs for the monitoring and evaluation frameworks of Zambia's INDC and NAMAs. Starting in late 2015, the Government of Zambia, Rural Electricity Authority, and CEES also began developing a DIA framework and process to assess and measure impacts of electrification projects, including 3 renewable energy projects. It is anticipated that the DIA framework and process will inform Zambia's 3rd National Development Plan. It should be emphasized that building the capacity of CEES to lead the DIA effort overall, as well as the capacity of key stakeholders to provide critical inputs to the analysis and process, was central in supporting successful outcomes. The slide presents two of the key mitigation areas included in Zambia's INDC. The co-benefits described can be directly linked to outputs from Zambia's DIA framework and process. Results of the DIA process supported comparison of impacts across technologies, sectors, and scenarios, facilitating more informed decision-making. The DIA framework also allowed for clear presentation of linkages between LED's actions and development impacts, supporting communication to policymakers and other stakeholders. As noted in previous slides, the DIA framework can integrate both qualitative impact information based on stakeholder and expert discussion and impact data based on quantitative analysis. As one example, in Zambia, the Jobs and Economic and Development Impacts Tool, or JEDI, was used to assess job impacts of potential mini-hydro projects included in Inama. The job outputs derived from the JEDI analysis were then combined under the broader framework with qualitative information related to other impacts, such as education. The flexibility of the framework is one of the key benefits, as it allows users to integrate both qualitative and quantitative information based on data availability and other considerations.